Hey everybody, so it's just after 9:30 and I have just finished with this bed, pulling the fill down from the pond area. And I do have, so right here is actually just $49 worth of plants. Okay. Now I did try to get an Artemisia started from seed and none of them would germinate for me. That's part of why I bought that. And as you can see, it's just a very beautiful frosty plant. And I'll be able to do cuttings from that. And then this big one was $15. And then this is all dirt from down yonder. I pulled this out. I wasn't sure if I was going to use it as backing to hold the mulch in, but I decided that I'm just going to take some old firewood and stack it up along the back there. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do about the front. I'll have to see how it goes once the chickens grow up a little bit. But I'm going to mulch this area. I was just going to go ahead and mulch this whole area, but they only had 4 bags of the kind of mulch that I wanted left. So I have just enough to do this space right now. And I do eventually want this to be gravel because, again, that's going to be like permanent mulch that is not going to decay and that my birds are not going to be able to kick around, 4 foot off the edges of the beds. So I got to see how it's going to go, but I'm not necessarily wanting to spend up a whole bunch of money on that stuff right now. I have to run some numbers and prioritize some things and make a schedule of how I want to do this. I have an idea in my head of things that I want to get done by the end of the year. So I have to see how that's going to go and how that's going to shake out, because there's all sorts of other things too, like my car needs some repairs and things like that. So we'll see. I may end up selling some assets. I don't have traditional retirement like some people, but I just have some stuff set back as kind of like emergency savings, rainy days / not really adequate for retirement anyways. That's part of why I'm trying to build a lifestyle that's actually going to work as a working pseudo retirement for me, because I just love it so much. So it's not that it's not hard work, it's that it brings me so much joy. If I can get by making money off of selling this stuff and just loving it, then that sounds great to me. So I'm going to mulch this. Someone's going to be grumpy at me, but I did pick up a couple things because I have this situation going on where I put in some things and I'm basically committed to watering this space very regularly throughout the summer. So I'm kind of trying to centralize all these new plants that I'm putting in this space where my one hose can just reach all of it. So I did put this in. And these are things that I've tried to get started in the past, but it's like, man, you just miss watering 1 week, the wrong week, and they're dead. Okay, so this is just a juniper. And it's going to add to my privacy screen for this back area and give me propagation material. It's like a mother plant. And then my rose, my Captain Samuel Holland rose, I think it's called, I just put right underneath this rose, and I want them to intermingle. Because eventually what I'm going to do is and I might actually start sooner rather than later if I can get any more blooms out of this other one. And we'll see. I don't want to deadhead these because I'm going to collect the hips later. I don't know how it's going to go this year, but eventually I'm going to be making some new roses and putting them out into the world. Okay. And these are both old-fashioned style roses. This one is even more fragrant. And I'm just going to do some crossbreeding and plant a whole bunch of the seeds and just see what pops up. And then the ones that I like, I can give them names and take cuttings and propagate them from cuttings so that they'll be true to the mother plant. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I want to basically do this. I want to have my own elderberry. Numerous of my own elderberries. I want to have my own roses, and there's another plant that I'm also going to be doing some crossbreeding of later. So I did spend up a little bit of money yesterday. It's unfortunately my therapy when I'm going through extremely stressful things. Some people spend up their money on booze and other stuff like that. I tend to spend up my money on plants and books. but I'm hoping these are all going to be able to bring me income. Okay, so I got this as a yew bush, and so the berries are not edible to humans. It's going to give me some evergreen interest, you know, and I have this idea that, like, if I'm smart about it, I can, like, be selling plants from my little roadside stand all year, just depending on what time of year it is and what looks good compared to everything else, you know? So I wouldn't expect to sell a whole bunch of yews in the summertime, but if I had a table of those out in the winter of some evergreens, you know, like, but towards the end of winter when it's, like, getting ready to melt, some people might be like, oh, that looks good right now, you know? So I also got this False Cypress King's Gold. It's supposed to get taller. Now I do have that Black Beauty Mulberry eventually. Well, I don't have it yet, but eventually I'm going to have a Black Beauty Mulberry going in ahead of that. And then that Red Dragon Contorted Filbert might go in next to that thing. I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and finagle some landscape fabric over here and go ahead and get this little area mulched, I think is what I want to do. And I'm hoping that I can actually keep it wood mulched and then have the stone around it and just keep the chickens from going crazy. I am going to have to fence this thing like in the wintertime anyways to keep the deer from just destroying it. So what I was thinking about doing is eventually just putting up some posts that are not too obnoxious and then putting some hardware wire around the base to keep my chickens out. I don't know how it's going to go because they can just hop on over that, but at least hopefully it'll catch the mulch. But we'll see. Okay, I'm gonna take a break right now and have some coffee and some electrolytes and things like that.